It took a little while for us to really connect and understand one another. Still, we grew into truly close companions pretty soon after meeting. There's quite a tale behind it. Urgent developments from Buckingham Palace have just disrupted the usual steadiness surrounding the British royal family. An update that was meant to be straightforward has instead become profoundly upsetting. The news many had feared most regarding Catherine, Princess of Wales, has now been confirmed, and the consequences are enormous. The statement that altered everything. Those grand entrances at Buckingham Palace have seen many pivotal events over the years, yet few match the gravity of what happened only a short time ago. Right at 11:45 this morning, the Palace Communications team issued a declaration that rippled shock across the United Kingdom and far beyond its borders. The wording, chosen with great care yet painfully direct, verified the worries that plenty of people had tried to push aside. Catherine, Princess of Wales, the figure who has come to represent contemporary royal poise and strength, is now confronting a struggle much graver than anything previously admitted in public. The message, distributed through established outlets and swiftly covered by all leading media groups, disclosed that Catherine's medical condition had shifted in an unforeseen and highly troubling direction. Although the palace had shared back in March 2024 that she was receiving preventive chemotherapy after major abdominal surgery, the latest update describes a situation that is considerably more severe. The malignancy, first detected during her operation that January, has turned out to be far more forceful than doctors originally thought. Specialists guiding the royal household have advised a prolonged and more rigorous course of therapy, which means Catherine must withdraw entirely from official appearances for an undetermined length of time. Royal commentator Jonathan Sacerdoti was quick to analyze the meaning of this on air. His tone, normally calm and precise, held a clear sense of gravity as he pointed out that every phrase in official palace communications is deliberate. Each term is examined, discussed, and approved by the most senior figures. Phrases such as prolonged therapy and open-ended withdrawal indicate a challenge far beyond a short recovery period. This goes beyond stepping away briefly after standard medical procedures. This concerns a woman in her early 40s battling to stay alive while doing everything possible to spare her 3 young children the full terror of what she's going through. Almost immediately after the release, online platforms exploded with reaction. On what is now called X, formerly Twitter, Catherine's name shot to the top of global trends. The hashtag calling for prayers on her behalf reached the #1 spot in more than 50 nations. Posts from dedicated royal supporter pages on Instagram drew millions of views in the opening hour alone. Yet beyond the rapid digital response, a deeper shift was taking place. Individuals who had never paid much attention to the royal family suddenly felt touched by the unfolding hardship. Here was someone who had lived responsibly, committed herself to serving the public, and brought up her children with an impressive sense of ordinary life despite their unusual circumstances, now dealing with the kind of fear every parent dreads most. The moment chosen for this disclosure feels especially harsh. Only a month earlier, Catherine had seemed to make a strong comeback into public view. She appeared at the Remembrance Day ceremony at the cenotaph, standing on the balcony, dressed impeccably in dark attire, maintaining perfect composure. To everyone watching, she looked to be healing steadily, easing back into good health after a tough year. In private, though, a much different story was developing. Tests carried out toward the end of November uncovered issues that caught everyone off guard. The malignant cells, which the medical staff had believed were fully removed, displayed renewed signs in locations that alarmed the doctors greatly. Sources inside the palace, speaking without identification, have described a scene of controlled urgency in the hours before the statement came out. Top members of the royal family learned the details late the previous evening in urgent gatherings. King Charles, who is still coping with his own cancer announcement from earlier in the year, was reportedly crushed by the news. Prince William, who has remained Catherine's steady source of strength through all of this, had to make the ultimate call about sharing the complete truth openly. Keeping up the appearance that recovery was proceeding as usual had become impossible to sustain. Health facts have a way of demanding honesty, and the royal household has been compelled to face this in the most sorrowful manner imaginable. Catherine's path through difficult times. To fully appreciate the importance of the latest update, we need to look back at the start of this ordeal. January 16th, 2024, was intended to be an ordinary day in the precisely managed schedule of the Princess of Wales. Instead, it became the beginning of a dark experience she could never have foreseen. The scheduled operation on her abdomen, reported then as successful and related to a benign issue, uncovered something much more threatening. While carrying out the procedure at the London clinic, one of the country's top private medical facilities, the surgical team noticed irregularities that required urgent sampling for testing. The findings, provided several days afterward, transformed her world. Cancer, a diagnosis that fills countless people with dread, had entered Catherine's life. This was not an ordinary case, however. The particular kind in sight, information the palace has kept closely protected, pointed toward a highly forceful variant that demanded prompt and thorough intervention. Specialists discussing similar situations in general terms note that when malignancy is found unexpectedly during an operation for another problem, it frequently indicates the illness had been advancing quietly without detection. That undetected growth is precisely what makes it so threatening. Catherine's choice to pursue preventive chemotherapy, shared with the public in that moving video statement from March, was presented as a safety step. She addressed the nation with her usual poise, noting that although the operation had gone well, further examinations had detected cancer, and her doctors advised chemotherapy as the wisest next action. What she left unsaid, what would have sparked widespread alarm if mentioned, was the serious worry among her physicians about tiny traces of disease that could have already moved past the operated area. The chemotherapy course Catherine followed was extremely demanding. People near the family have privately mentioned that the adverse reactions turned out much harsher than expected. The constant sickness, the overwhelming tiredness, the loss of hair that she hid skillfully with professional styling and carefully chosen headwear during her limited outings. Every round of medication drained her further. Still, she pressed on with the same resolve that has marked her handling of royal responsibilities. She was determined to overcome this. She had to overcome this. George, Charlotte, and Louis needed their mother healthy. During the spring and summer months of 2024, Catherine stayed mostly out of the public eye. The occasional images shared from Kensington Palace portrayed a mother striving to keep everyday routines for her children. Portraits for birthdays, relaxed family pictures, thoughtfully selected scenes meant to calm worries that the princess was improving. But those who knew how to interpret subtle clues noticed worrying indications. The visible loss of weight stood out, the deliberate angles in photos to conceal the physical strain from therapy, the withdrawal from gatherings she would typically have joined without hesitation. By September, when Catherine shared a video declaring she had finished her chemotherapy, a careful sense of hope emerged. She expressed relief, spoke about anticipating more official appearances, and described seeing brighter days ahead. The accompanying family clips captured her enjoying time with William and the children in the Norfolk landscape. It felt like a moment of celebration, a confident sign that she had prevailed against the difficulties. Experts in medicine who viewed that message, however, paid close attention to the precise wording. She mentioned finishing chemotherapy, not being entirely free of cancer. She talked about entering a fresh stage of healing, not about a full cure. Those careful differences carry great weight. The fall season brought what appeared to be a slow re-entry into royal obligations. Catherine showed up at Wimbledon in July for a short, yet meaningful public moment. She joined the Remembrance event in November, displaying the composure and elegance that have become her signature. Every outing was planned meticulously, with her timetable adjusted to match her available strength. What remained hidden from view was the extensive medical oversight behind each event, the ongoing checks, and the mounting worry within her care team. The imaging that ought to have confirmed steady improvement instead highlighted unclear spots, minor regions needing more detailed examination, additional testing, and tissue samples that delivered outcomes no one wished for. Toward the end of November, Catherine's doctors confronted a painful truth. The malignancy had not vanished. It was adjusting, changing, managing to linger even after the strong therapy she had already completed. Fresh approaches to treatment would be required, ones that were stronger, sometimes less proven, and carrying greater uncertainty about results. All through this experience, Catherine has shown a resilience that feels almost extraordinary. People who have been near her during these trials describe a woman resolute in not letting sickness define her completely. She stays engaged with her charity efforts, though from behind the scenes. She reads each message of encouragement that arrives. She takes part in choices about her children's schooling and extracurricular plans. She stands by William as he handles growing duties while witnessing his partners fight to survive. Yet the strain is impossible to ignore. This struggle demands not only bodily endurance but also mental and emotional resources that no person should ever need to tap so deeply. Within the palace grounds, the polished exterior of royal existence has long hidden personal hardships, but seldom has the difference between outward appearance and inner truth been so sharp. Inside those walls, the Wales household has been enduring the kind of nightmare any family fears most. Made heavier by the special demands of their status, Prince William, heir to the throne, has taken on responsibilities no training could fully prepare him for. He has become the main source of daily care and emotional stability for a wife facing mortal danger while working to protect 3 young children from grasping the complete awfulness of their mother's situation. William's change over the past 11 months has been striking. The prince, who once seemed happy to leave much of the family's routine planning to Catherine, has now immersed himself in every part of their children's daily lives. Morning preparations, drives to school, assistance with assignments, reading at bedtime. He has shouldered these tasks, while also handling his own rising official workload and coping with the heartbreak of seeing the woman he loves battle for survival. Close acquaintances say he functions almost mechanically, moving through each day's demands while privately gripped by fear about what lies ahead. The children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, have been shielded as much as possible from the full scope of their mother's health struggle, yet they sense something. George, now 11, comprehends more than his parents might guess. He has observed his mother's weariness, noticed when she lacks strength for activities they once shared. Charlotte, at 9, has grown almost watchful over Catherine, eager to assist in ways that tug painfully at her parents' emotions. And Louis, only 6, realizes things are not right, even if he cannot fully explain why. The family has consulted child development experts for advice on handling these discussions, aiming to share truth without causing fright and to ready them for outcomes no young person should face. Lambert School, attended by all 3, has been briefed on the circumstances and offers quiet extra help. Staff have been alerted to watch for any shifts in behavior that might signal deeper distress than the children show at home. The school environment, respected for its careful handling of privacy, has gathered support around the Wales children without drawing unwanted attention to them. Maintaining this careful equilibrium demands ongoing dialogue between the school and palace staff. At the same time, King Charles occupies the especially difficult position of managing his own cancer while seeing his daughter-in-law, someone he has grown to cherish as family, confront an even tougher fight. The king's malignancy, identified in February during care for an enlarged prostate, requires continued management but has been viewed as controllable. His physicians remain guardedly positive about his outlook, yet hearing about Catherine's worsening state has clearly affected the monarch deeply. He has made more frequent private trips to Adelaide Cottage to spend time with William and the grandchildren, giving whatever guidance and comfort he can. The connection between Charles and William through this hardship has highlighted the depth of their bond. Any past strains that occasionally surfaced have disappeared. Father and son now share a foundation built on common difficulty. They talk every day, often several times, exchanging thoughts on medical options, voicing worries they keep from others, bolstering one another against the isolation that accompanies leading the monarchy amid personal pain. Charles has also made certain that William gradually assumes greater duties, readying him for the chance that events could hasten the succession timeline in ways nobody wishes to imagine. Queen Camilla has proven an unforeseen source of steady support. Her past experiences seeing her first husband and several dear friends face grave illnesses have equipped her with insight others lack. She grasps the weariness, the anxiety, the sense of helplessness felt by the person who remains well while a loved one suffers. Camilla has devoted substantial time simply being with Catherine, avoiding talk of sickness or therapy, and instead offering quiet companionship. They have formed a connection that goes beyond formal roles, finding comfort in mutual understanding of loving men who bear the burdens of royal life. The wider royal circle has drawn together in a manner seldom witnessed. Princess, and recognized for her straightforward style and tireless dedication, has silently accepted extra commitments to lighten the load on Charles and William. Prince Edward and Sophie, Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, have stepped up their public roles and provided meaningful private assistance and encouragement. Even relatives, usually kept at more distance, have reached out with offers of help. Perhaps the most touching element of this situation has been the reactions from those who endured past royal sorrows. Comparisons to Princess Diana's difficulties, though distinct in kind, are impossible to overlook. William's resolve to safeguard Catherine and their children from the media storm that overwhelmed his mother's existence has grown stronger. He has personally overseen the release of information, demanded privacy around medical visits, and stated firmly that limits protecting his family will not be crossed. The wounds from his early years have shaped every choice he has made in this crisis, for good and for challenge. The clinical facts. To properly understand the seriousness of the current statement, we need to examine the health challenges Catherine faces, recognizing that while exact specifics remain undisclosed by the palace, the wording and surrounding details offer important hints. Malignancies affecting women of Catherine's age, especially when found during procedures for apparently unrelated concerns, frequently involve reproductive or digestive organs. The forceful behavior implied by initial preventive chemotherapy followed by longer, stronger intervention points to an illness that has resisted early efforts to control it. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a cancer specialist at Royal Marsden Hospital who has not been involved in Catherine's care but comments on comparable situations broadly, notes that needing several different treatment plans often signals either unusually active cells or a disease able to avoid first attempts at management. Today's chemotherapy can be highly successful against many forms of cancer, yet certain varieties build ways to withstand the harsh conditions created by the drugs. When that occurs, specialists must shift to other methods, frequently mixing various chemotherapy drugs, incorporating precision treatments, or exploring immune-based options. The preventive course Catherine finished probably included numerous rounds spread across months. Each round delivers potent medications meant to destroy any lingering malignant cells, then allows time for the body to regain strength before the following session. The accompanying difficulties, sickness, extreme tiredness, hair thinning, weakened immunity, greater chance of infection, are hard enough, but the mental burden often proves the most draining. Living with the knowledge that powerful toxins are moving through your body, targeting harmful cells while also harming healthy ones, always hoping the effort is sufficient yet never certain until later scans provide answers. Those later imaging checks, usually scheduled every 3 months after finishing chemotherapy, become moments of intense waiting. Patients endure anxious days awaiting findings that will either confirm the disease is gone or show that further care is required. For Catherine, the examinations done late in November delivered the second outcome. Pictures revealed either fresh, troubling spots or expansion in places expected to be clear. This discovery led to more tissue sampling to determine precisely what was occurring inside cells. The findings from those samples shaped the announcement made today. When malignancy returns or continues despite early intervention, the entire approach shifts greatly. Primary treatment courses tend to offer the highest chances of success. Later options frequently bring reduced effectiveness along with harsher reactions. Physicians must weigh forceful action against preserving decent daily living, always aware that the person is battling not only illness but also striving to keep some ordinary existence. For Catherine, this involves therapies that avoid total exhaustion yet still hold real promise. The group handling Catherine's treatment includes the very best oncology experts in Britain, leading doctors from Royal Marsden, advisors from other top cancer facilities, authorities in particular methods. They gather regularly to assess her progress, debate strategies, look into trials, pursue every viable path. The King's own medical staff work closely with Catherine's group to maintain coordinated care and share insights from both situations. This joint effort reflects medicine at its highest level, yet it also emphasizes how grave the circumstances are. Such extensive collaboration is reserved for the most complex cases. Immune therapy, a direction possibly under review, stands as one of the most promising recent developments in cancer care. These methods essentially teach a patient's own defense system to identify and destroy malignant cells. For certain individuals, immune therapy delivers outstanding outcomes even when standard chemotherapy has not succeeded. Still, Not every cancer type responds, and forecasting benefit remains difficult. Analyzing Catherine's cells for markers suggesting likely response to immune approaches has almost certainly been part of her latest evaluations. Precision treatments represent another potential route, using medications crafted to attack particular genetic changes within cancer cells. These can prove highly successful with milder reactions than conventional chemotherapy, but they depend on pinpointing targetable alterations in the malignancy's makeup. The area of tailored cancer care has progressed enormously lately, bringing possibilities where few existed before. Catherine's doctors have undoubtedly conducted thorough genetic analysis of her tumor to spot any useful mutations. A royal institution adapting. The update released today affects far more than just the Wales family on a personal level. It carries deep consequences for the British monarchy as a whole. The royal schedule operates on detailed plans set months or even years ahead. Catherine's open-ended withdrawal from official roles leaves a noticeable void hard to fill. As Princess of Wales and eventual Queen Consort, she holds a distinctive place in the royal structure, surpassed in public draw and symbolic value only by the king and his wife. The immediate practical issue centers on reassigning Catherine's supported causes and formal obligations. She serves as patron for many charitable groups and bodies, selected to match her focus on early childhood growth, emotional well-being, and creative fields. These entities rely on royal backing not only for status but for the increased donations and attention such ties attract. Although Catherine can keep her title as patron, lacking her direct participation creates real difficulties. Other family members might handle temporary appearances, yet no one can match her individual commitment to those issues. Formal national events pose additional complications. The royal year features many occasions expecting attendance by leading members. Overseas state visits, diplomatic gatherings, key commemorative ceremonies. Catherine's involvement in these has become expected and appreciated. Her absence will be noticeable and missed. While Queen Camilla can manage numerous ceremonial tasks, losing the representation of the younger generation through Catherine shifts the overall image the monarchy projects to the country and abroad. The effect on Prince William's responsibilities may be the most profound. As the next in line for the throne, he was already steadily accepting greater roles. Catherine's health struggle speeds this up considerably. William now has to serve as the main younger public representative, covering both his own commitments and some of hers while remaining available for his wife and children. It creates a situation with no perfect solution, demanding constant decisions about priorities and acceptance that certain things will go unfinished. King Charles confronts his own difficult choices. At 76, and handling his personal treatment, he cannot simply add major extra events to make up for Catherine's absence. The king's timetable is already finely tuned to balance required duties with necessary rest and healing. Taking on much more could risk his well-being. Still, the monarchy needs visible activity. This conflict between individual health and institutional needs raises basic concerns about whether the current royal framework can continue long-term. Princess, and titled Princess Royal, is again stepping forward to cover openings. Famous as the most active royal by yearly event count, and has quietly accepted further tasks. Yet she is 74. Though remarkably energetic and devoted, there are natural limits to any single person's capacity. The same holds for Prince Edward and Sophie, who have raised their visibility and workload yet cannot alone compensate for missing two of the family's most prominent figures. This circumstance has renewed debate about the risks of the streamlined monarchy idea that Charles has. Supported for years, the concept, a smaller group of active royals making a leaner, more contemporary body, sounds appealing in principle. But the present difficulties expose its weaknesses. When health problems or personal trials arise, as they always do in families, a reduced team has limited ability to adjust. There is no reserve group of working royals prepared to step up. Individuals who might once have served in such capacities have either stepped away or never been shaped into active participants. Longer-term constitutional matters, though not pressing now, deserve thought. The order of succession stays straightforward: Charles, followed by William, then George. Yet if William must direct major attention towards supporting Catherine and their children, his preparation for future kingship suffers. The learning, the connections with government leaders, the grasp of Commonwealth relationships, all demand time and concentration that William increasingly lacks. There is also the uncomfortable topic of planning for worst outcomes. Though nobody wishes to dwell on them, the monarchy must prepare for every possibility. Should Catherine's illness prove fatal, William would eventually face leading the nation while unmarried and raising 3 young children by himself. Past examples exist, but today's public expectations of the royal role differ greatly from earlier times. People have grown to appreciate the stable family picture William and Catherine offer. Losing that would deeply change the monarchy's draw and connection with newer generations. Government and Parliament, while publicly keeping respectful space from royal health issues, privately track developments carefully. The monarchy's reliability is viewed as important to the nation. Any major interruption to royal activities or succession arrangements affects Britain's governing structure and global position. Undisclosed discussions about backup plans are certainly happening, though never openly admitted. Public sentiment, that changeable element able to lift or undermine a modern monarchy, has gathered strongly behind Catherine and revealed her true widespread appeal. Surveys regularly place her among the most respected royals, embodying a successful blend of tradition with contemporary life. Her health struggle has sparked broad compassion and worry, yet public goodwill has boundaries. Should royal events clearly diminish, or the monarchy seem unable to carry out its representative duties, doubts about its ongoing purpose could grow louder. The road ahead, as the initial impact of today's news starts to ease, focus naturally shifts to what lies next. For Catherine herself, the coming steps mean following whatever care plan her doctors suggest, aware that every choice holds immense importance. Striking the right mix between strong intervention and preserving daily quality becomes critical. She is determined to defeat this illness, yet she also wants to remain involved and capable in her children's routines. Selecting therapies that provide real prospects while letting her stay an engaged parent demands precise judgment. The upcoming treatment stage, expected to start soon based on palace information, will probably prove more demanding than what she has already faced. Whether it combines different chemotherapy drugs, immune approaches, precision medications, or several together, the reactions will be considerable. Handling those effects while keeping any normal home rhythm will need extensive help. The Wales residents enjoy support most patients can scarcely imagine: constant expert medical attention, cooks preparing food suited to dietary requirements and sickness control, staff managing ordinary chores that grow exhausting during therapy. Still, no amount of privilege can truly lighten the burden of cancer. William's part in the coming period is vital beyond words. He must serve as spouse, caretaker, parent, and future monarch all at once. The demands on him are immense. Yet people close to him say he finds resolve in Catherine's own example. If she can confront cancer with poise and persistence, he can meet the task of standing by her. Their partnership, stretched in ways few couples experience, will either grow even closer or strain to the limit. Everything points toward greater strength. The tie between William and Catherine, built across more than 20 years, seems unbreakable. For George, Charlotte, and Louis, the months to come will shape their views on family bonds, endurance, and life's fragility in lasting ways. Experts in child psychology stress using truth suited to each age, keeping schedules steady when possible, and making sure children feel safe sharing emotions without feeling they add to their parents' worries. The Wales family appears to follow this guidance, holding regular home discussions where the children can raise questions and voice fears. They also make certain that joy still happens, that family outings and laughter continue. Cancer has entered their world, but it does not control every minute. Continued help from the larger royal circle remains essential. Frequent time with grandparents, cousins, and other kin offers both hands-on aid and emotional nourishment. The official royal schedule will shift to free senior members for more family support. Certain planned overseas journeys might be delayed or given to others. Major state receptions could be simplified. The monarchy must adjust to the fact that one of its key people is battling to live. Communications from Kensington Palace will also change. Today's openness marks a move toward sharing more about Catherine's health. While private medical facts stay protected, people can look for steadier reports on her progress and care. This approach serves several needs. It sets realistic expectations about her absence. It limits rumors and guesswork. It lets the country feel part of her experience. Trying to keep everything hidden through quiet has proven unsustainable. When Catherine might resume public roles stays truly unknown. Optimistic views could allow limited appearances later in 2025, though probably scaled back. More likely timelines point to meaningful activity not restarting until 2026 or later. There is also the hard possibility that Catherine may never return fully to the level of engagement she had before learning of her illness. That would mean a basic change in how the Wales family works and how the monarchy operates overall. Progress in medicine brings real grounds for hope. Cancer care keeps advancing quickly. Treatments unavailable 5 years ago are now routine. Research studies provide entry to the newest methods. Catherine's doctors can reach the most current global developments. Should promising experimental options appear, she would access them early. Wealth and position cannot guarantee results, but they do open every available resource in the struggle. The role of faith in Catherine's experience deserves mention. As future Queen and head of the Church of England, belief has long mattered to her. Through this trial, accounts suggest it has grown even more vital. Quiet prayer with church leaders, comfort drawn from sacred texts, backing from a nationwide faith community, these offer strength beyond what medicine provides. Regardless of personal beliefs, faith's ability to carry people through hardship is clear. Looking farther into the future, Catherine's ordeal will surely influence her later royal contributions. If she regains enough health for public work, her own encounter with grave sickness will add deeper sincerity to her efforts on emotional well-being and aid for those in medical crises. Her support for cancer-related causes, already part of her past, would gain powerful personal weight. She could speak forcefully for patients dealing with health care, for greater research support, for the emotional networks families need when facing cancer. There is also the lasting example forming now. No matter the final outcome, Catherine's poise under crushing strain, her focus on her children's welfare, her refusal to let disease fully shape her identity, these traits reach well past palace walls. She shows a contemporary kind of bravery, one that accepts weakness yet rejects defeat. Scholars of history will mark this time as pivotal not only for Catherine, but for how the monarchy handled challenge in our era. People in Britain and across the globe find themselves unusually invested in someone most have never met. Catherine has managed something special. She has kept the monarchy relatable and human while preserving its grace and aura. Her illness removes any last pretense, showing plainly that royal standing offers no shield from life's harshest trials. By meeting cancer with bravery and candor, Catherine reflects our common human experience. As we process today's painful news, uncertainty lies ahead. Medical results cannot be foreseen. Schedules refuse firm prediction. The only sure things are that Catherine will keep battling with every tool at hand. Her loved ones will remain steadfast whatever comes. And a country waits anxiously for better updates in the days and weeks to follow. More information will emerge as the palace settles into this changed situation. Additional consultations, further care choices, careful handling of what to share publicly against what stays private. Throughout, attention stays rightly on a wife, mother, and daughter-in-law fighting to survive. Crowns and ceremonies pale beside that core human story. Today's message from Buckingham Palace signals not a conclusion, but entry into a new, less certain stage of Catherine's fight against cancer. The struggle goes on. The ending stays unknown, and the best any of us can offer is hope, prayer, and distant encouragement. As one of the nation's most cherished people confronts her hardest trial, the love story that won hearts everywhere now enters its most shadowed part. The final chapter has yet to be written, but the bravery shown in living it earns deep admiration and backing.